drive, though, you have to be able to connect that drive to the computer. So at the very least, you need the right kind of port. You need the right kind of port and the right kind of wire or ribbon. More than that, though, older computer operating systems sort of speak a different language than newer ones. So even if you were to find an 8-inch floppy drive, you'd need a controller card, which would translate between the older and newer data systems to be able to read the disks. The image here is of a 5 1/4-inch drive, open and ready to be connected to the controller card that's next to it. And Mulder and Scully are there just because they're on my workstation. Many older disk drives and systems would also write back to the disk every time the disk was spun up. So every time you put a disk in the drive, the system writes a little bit of information back to it about that use. So this becomes problematic when you're trying to ensure that you aren't changing the data or harming its authenticity. If the date of last modification changes from 1983 to 2013, that fundamentally changes the context around the document, and it becomes harder to prove that this is the content as it was actually created in 1983. The way around this is a device called a write blocker, which makes a drive read-only instead of read-write. I'll be reviewing write blockers in a little bit when we talk about accessioning. At this point, we can take a brief break, and if there are any questions about digital objects, now would be the time to ask.
I don't have questions at this point,
okay.
But we'll let you know if something pops up.
Okay, great. I know that one was early on, but it was a logical stopping point. Okay, so now that we know a little bit more about what digital documents are, we can begin to think about how we manage them in the archival context. Just like with any paper